Hey guys, welcome to OurTake. Today we're going to be reviewing Super 8. This came up because we were watching Stranger Things season 3.
Well, I had this kind of theory that when Stranger Things came out in 2016, it was this huge thing because it was all about like nostalgia, and it was this feeling of like people compared it to Stand By Me and E.T. and the Goonies, because it's this like storyline that's very it's kind of made for adults, or if you described it to people, you would picture the main characters as adults, but the main characters are in fact kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought what actually jump-started this kind of newer trend where it's Stranger Things was doing it, and the new It was doing that as well. I thought Super 8 did it well, and they kind of started it off.
Yeah, I think they showed you could make money doing it, essentially. Mm-hmm. They did this, and they were like, everybody was like, oh yeah, these movies are great.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Because it's as a viewer, you also there's genuine worry because it's like they're kids and you don't want these kids to get killed. But in the back of your mind, you're like, they're not going to kill a kid.
Yeah.
So the whole time you're just kind of having fun, like
that. And when you watch it, you sit there and you think about when I was a kid. Like if this was happening to me when I was a kid,
probably would handle this the same way.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be thinking about we just finished watching Stranger Things. Well, I finished watching it this morning.
Yeah, the
season 3.
Season 3.
And, it's just certain things that they say to each other or certain things that they are prioritizing. I'm like, you can only do that with kids. And Super 8 does that a lot as well, where, like, in the first scene where they're at the funeral, and the kids are still talking to each other like they're kids, and they're like, like, what is it? The one kid's infatuated with blowing shit up still at a funeral, and you're like, God. But it's like that. I knew kids like that. That kind of had no filter. It was just like
that's what they were thinking about.
Yeah, it was like, man, I really would like to blow something up right now, but no. So that's kind of why I thought this would be a good idea to kind of just revisit Super 8. I mean, it's been what about 8 years since it came out.
2011, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And yeah, it's one of our favorite movies from.
Well, I I wouldn't say favorite, but it is one that I enjoy highly. It's one that I legitimately could put this on at any time and just sit down and watch it, have as much fun as I did when I saw it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
It mixes that action and comedy and that kind of, but it mixes that all very, very well. Because comedically, the kids together are hilarious.
Yeah, it's really fun.
And then it's J.J. Abrams wrote and directed it, and there's a decent amount. It's not like a whole lot of action, but the action in it is done well. Like
and the train wreck.
I was about to say the train wreck scene in particular makes the movie.
It's one of the better action sequences.
I mean, in that movie for sure. I wouldn't put it in.
But in terms of like how a train wreck probably would happen like that.
Yeah, I would say it's a little more like realistic.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling, and it's cool to see that, and it's funny to see why as a viewer that you're seeing this is because you're following these kids and they want to be shooting a film, and the director, another kid of the film, has to get production value. And they just have
the theme of the movie is production value. The whole times he says
production value. Or when the military's overrunning the town, and he's like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, we can use this. And going through people. Literally, the government is going through people's homes, and he's like,
we can film this real quick.
Yeah.
But see, I while watching it, I was like, that's something. I bet you J.J. Abrams as a child would be thinking about doing stuff like that. Because I've heard stories about, like, he's one of those people that from a very young age, he was like, oh, I want to be making films. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all I want to do. That's all I could think about. So I think I truly believe that the bigger kid, the kid that was making the movie in this movie was, I think that was kind of J.J. Abrams. Like he wrote a little bit of him in that character. No, but the train sequence is, it's so, and sound is a big player in this movie, and like the sound when that train wreck is happening, it's like, it feels like, oh, that's probably how it would sound. It's like overbearingly loud, and it's not necessarily explosions, but it's more of like just huge structures bashing into each other. Mm-hmm. It would be genuinely terrifying.
Yeah.
And the stakes in that scene are upped because it's kids. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I mean, obviously it's always going to be high stakes when there's a train wreck, but when it's like these kids, it's like, oh no, like you're scared. But on
top of the kids being really good, well, there's a couple standout performances.
What would you say is your standout?
It's Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning really does kind of steal the show, in my opinion.
But it's more.
All the kids are really good, but she's the one you go, oh, she's the good.
She's the best. She was the best actor of the kids.
Yeah.
Like she stood out completely. I thought.
And then Kyle Chandler's really good.
Yeah, but Kyle Chandler. I agree. Kyle Chandler's one of my, I wouldn't say favorite actors, but he's someone that I always enjoy seeing in a role because he's so kind of watchable. Mm-hmm. He's never like, in my opinion, he'll never like win an Oscar. He'll never put in a role where it's like he absolutely crushes, but he also is just so easy to watch that whenever he's on screen, you're just kind of drawn to him.
Yeah.
You know, and because of that, he almost always puts in a good performance. And in this, he does a really good job of playing that character that's hiding his kind of feelings because his wife has passed, and being.
There's a lot of
like
emotion.
But it's also kind of
a lot of emotions.
It's like
really
emotions, but as the father's just burying it down.
Well,
like,
yeah, but I'm just saying in general, this movie touches. I think that's part of the reason
the emotional swing from kind of scene to scene is pretty. It's pretty drastic sometimes, and not in a bad way. But
it's kind of like life, honestly.
Well, yeah, because
it's got that.
But it helps because. It's from the point of view of a kid that has already gone through an emotional trauma, mm-hmm. and he's now, you can tell he's wanting to hang out with his friends and continue to live a relatively normal life. But in the background, he's dealing with, I mean, his mother has passed away, and his mom was what you kind of figure out, she was the one that understood him.
Yeah.
You know, like, his father was there, his father was supportive, but she knew what he was thinking, what he would be going through, and why he would be thinking this way.
She could relate to him,
where
and
the father could not.
Yeah,
Kyle Chandler couldn't, and so the scenes with Kyle Chandler and the kid are really usually kind of sad because it's Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler wants to be. I mean, it's not like he's not a good dad.
And he wants to be. He just doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And he buries himself basically in his work, which is as a police officer, and that's also another reason you like the story is there's the mystery of there's strange things happening in this town, and it's like the police is having to get involved, and then you realize the police is being kind of shoved out by the government, and that's where there's the E.T. kind of connection, you know, like. There's something going on in this town, and people know something's kind of strange is going on, but then the government comes in, they're like, everything's fine, when clearly everything is not fine.
Yeah, like everybody's house pets are running away, and...
That was a cool scene, when you realize...
When they're getting calls of people saying, I found your dog,
but it's
like a circle around the town.
And all the pets had literally just dispersed.
Yeah.
And that, there's just certain elements in this that I think... were because J.J. Abrams is just a really good filmmaker, and I kind of wish he would make another film like this. I know he's now deep into Star Wars and all that stuff, but he was just... This was one of those standalone movies that was really, really good. Like, he did Mission Impossible 3, but that was a sequel, you know, and then he did the first two Star Trek are really good, mm-hmm. but that's also like a franchise, like...
Yeah, I wish he would do like
another standalone movie like this. And the other thing that was cool about Super 8, he he had no co-write. It was all him. To which it makes me believe this must have been
like a passion.
Yeah, like a personal project.
Yeah.
It's
really good. It's really it's a lot like Stranger. A lot of the reasons you like Stranger Things, it would be a lot of the reasons you like this movie.
Yeah,
because there's a lot going on.
It's very everything that you like about Stranger Things. I guarantee you would enjoy about Super 8. And it was a popular movie, but it's just something that it's a movie that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about in recent years, and I think it's worth.
Yeah, well, back. I mean, you hear with Stranger Things, you hear a lot of the comparisons to E.T. too.
It's just those old, it's like the Amblin Entertainment.
I think we both agreed when we saw the first season of Stranger Things. We both said, they got this. We thought it was from Super. Like,
I just thought the Duffer Brothers, because the Duffer Brothers created Stranger Things, and I'm not saying that they like immediately started writing.
And I'm sure it was a mixture of a whole bunch of stuff.
But I think
Super 8 paved the way.
Yes, I think people saw, or maybe Netflix as a company, or even the brothers saw Super 8 and were like,
this can work.
It's like this could easily work because
Yeah.
When people watch movies like this, at worst they're entertained. You know, like that's usually worst case scenario. But and they probably saw the potential of a series after watching Super 8 and seeing how successful a series like that could be, and evidently it is.
Yeah.
I mean, all 3 seasons are very good of Stranger Things. I mean, would you give this movie?
It's a B+. It's a
I mean, it's very similar. It's just that feeling of a movie where it's really good and it's really fun and it's really enjoyable, but nothing about it to me is like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie, I'm just like, oh god, I'm just having a fun time.
It is, and like you mentioned before, so I could probably watch this movie 20, 30, 40 times and not get tired of it.
Because
you just throw it on. It's a movie you can throw on and have on in the background and just pick it up whenever, and it's entertaining.
I would compare this, and this was the movie that, like, if you want to compare directors, like former director or like older directors,
this feels Spielberg.
This was the movie where I was like, J.K. Abrams could and has kind of shown he needs to do a little bit more standalone movies. I wish he would, but this was a movie where I was like, he could be this generation's Spielberg. But right now he's just in kind of franchise mode, which is, and I mean, he continues.
He's still a younger guy too.
Yeah, but like he'll be getting up there. I mean, I don't know how old he is now, but if I had to guess, he's like 40.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, he still has plenty of years, and I'd love to see him continue to make movies in the vein of Super 8, where it's its own original idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now he's making boatloads of cash. He's making that Disney Star Wars money, which you can't fault him for that either.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just kind of summing it up. I just thought it was worth talking about. Super 8.
It definitely is, especially with the connection, the similarities between it and Stranger Things,
and how successful those are. And people became really obsessed with when it first came out. That's everything anyone can talk about. And when Stranger Things came out, every season since then, it's the same thing. Everyone's talking about it. And I just thought, I was like, Super 8 also deserved that sort of recognition, and it did. Yeah. It was successful, but it wasn't like a craze.
Mm-hmm. And it probably, it probably should have been. It's
great. It's a good movie. So that's just kind of our take on Super 8, and we'll just catch you next time with Our Take.